A very good afternoon to everyone present here. I, Swati Sharma, feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of Geeta Ratan International Business School in the IIC webinar based on the theme Problem Solving and Ideation Workshop. Geeta Ratan International Business School was established in the year 2004. The institute is affiliated to Guru Gobind Singh Indraprasth University, Delhi, and is approved by All India Council for Technical Education, Ministry of HRD, and Government of India for technical programs, and Bar Council of India for law programs. GIBS is currently offering postgraduate programs like MBA, MBA International Business, and undergraduate courses, namely BBA LLB, BA LLB, and BBA. It has been graded A by NAC in second cycle, and GIBS has been rated A plus by State Fee Regulatory Committee, a fee committee of Government of NCT of Delhi, and rated highest grading A by Joint Inspection Committee of Government of NCT of Delhi and GGS IP University. It has been rated grade A by Academic Audit Cell of GGS IP University consecutively from the past 8 years. GIBS has been rated as number 2 Pan-India by Times Business School Survey in 2018, 2019, and 2021. Geeta Ratan International Business School has constituted Institute Innovation and Entrepreneurship Cell under the guidance of Ministry of Education Innovation Cell. This webinar is organized as the IIC activity. During recent times, entrepreneurship has gained a lot of momentum from Government of India. It has the potential for generating employment and creating innovative solutions to the market needs. Demographic characteristics of India can only be converted to dividend when we create entrepreneurial ventures. The problem solving and ideation webinar is aimed to suitably motivate the students for generation of innovative and creative solutions for market needs and demands. And today we have with us an esteemed personality who will be sharing his valuable insights on the theme of the webinar. Now it's time to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. S. Balakrishnan. He's a professor and head at Department of Computer Science and Business System at Sri Krishna College of Engineering and Technology. He has 19 years of experience in teaching, research, and administration. He has published over 20 books, 27 technical blogs, and over 100 plus publication in highly cited journals and conferences. He is a faculty with maximum publishing in CSI Communications. He is an International Data Science Writer of the Year 2019 and 2021. He has also been appreciated under India Book of Records 2021 for filing 18 patents over a period of 15 months. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Now, I would like to request Dr. S. Balakrishnan to forward the session.
Yes. See, good afternoon, everyone present here. Thank you so much for your nice introduction, ma'am. So it gives me a great pleasure for me to extend my wishes to all the participants. So can I share my screen?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yes, sir. It is visible.
Yes. Okay. So the today topic is that actually the topic given by university is problem solving and ideation as per that IIC activity, that calendar activity. So since you are in BBA student, this topic is problem solving and ideation, and also how we are making the idea to business concept, how we are becoming an entrepreneur. So that is also very important for you people. So just today I am going through with that how we are solving problem with the help of technology, and what are the techniques or what are the methods we are following, and how we are converting that idea into business concept, so like that. So coming up with a good ideas is somewhat hard, but convincing others to do something with them is somewhat much harder. So the task of bringing an idea to someone with the power to do something with it is called a pitch. So we know that pitching. The pitch may be a software ideas or any implementation strategies like a movie screenplay, some sort of organizational changes, and even the business plan. So these are all pitched from one person to another like that. So like the pitching is going on like that. And although the field or industries may differ, but the basic skill of pitching ideas is the same. If you are an entrepreneur, you need to know how to pitch your business. Even if you are not planning to pursue funding, having a solid elevator pitch that ensures that you know your business that inside and out. So which comes in handy if or when you eventually decide to seek out the investment like that. So with this short, that introduction, this I will start my session. So the overview of the today's session is start with that introduction. So what are the nature of ideas? So how we are, what are the differentiating the ideas, and what are the different, what is problem solving and why the problem solving is needed, and what are the different techniques, that is a 10 ideation technique for very particularly for the problem solving, and how to make a pitch for the investors. And apart from that, making the pitch for the investor, some 9 important points to be considered while pitching from good to great idea like that. So finally conclude the session. So this is the overview of today's session. So am I audible? Is it okay?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Yes. So introduction. So whenever we talk about that ideation, see the 3 important term is very important. That is, 3 terminology is very important. Actually, at present in the current world, these 3 term is very important. Just make a note. One is the ideation. That is innovation. First thing is very important thing is the innovation. Second thing, once you got the innovative idea, that idea will be converted into some kind of intellectual property right, like copyright or patent or whatever it may be. So that is the second important keyword is the IPR, intellectual property right. And once you received your IPR, then you will become an entrepreneur. So these 3 terminology is very important, innovation, IPR, and entrepreneur. That is a startup or like that. So here the business world is taken over by the startup movement. Actually, for several years now, you have heard about the unicorns, angels, VC, accelerators, shark, hockey sticks, and burn rate. So these are some of the that startup movement. Actually, nowadays we are hearing about these words. So all we need to know for how is that startup or the young business often utilizing the investors' money to achieve a rapid growth like that. So in the beginning there is an idea. So in that idea, going from an idea for the next big thing to a successful business is not an easy. Fortunately, millions of entrepreneurs that walk the same path before us, and we can learn from their experiences. So based on that experience, the first lesson being, you don't need the funding right away. First, you have to validate your business idea. That's a very important thing. So before becoming an entrepreneur, before going for any kind of funding, first you don't need the funding right away. First, at most, the first very important step, you have to validate your business idea. So whenever we are validating your business idea, so in the upcoming next 1 hour, we are going to discuss about how to validate your idea from the great, good to great, or good to better, like best, like that. So we are going to discuss. So you would be amazed how far you can go with no external financing, and that gives you the freedom to experiment, that refine your idea, and maybe even fail. That way, you will be more mature when you finally meet the investors. So, will your idea and your business. So, having said that, let's talk the funding. So, in that funding, actually, we are having the two different phases are there. The first phase is actually the preparation phase. That is how we are presenting the or how we are pitching our idea. So that is a very important. That is the first phase is a preparation phase. This is probably the most crucial stage. Why? Because here facing the investors without a serious amount of time of preparing yourself and your it is somewhat heading for a disaster. So they will know you have not done your homework, and for them it's definitely no. It's not at all possible to make it like that. So whenever during this preparation phase, you should think your idea through that innovative steps through that some novel ideas like that, and after that we have to create a pitch deck, and next we have to create a elevator pitch, and next that is a very important thing. That is after that we have to all the way we have to do the practice. So the practice with your presentation, and finally how to do the research on the investor. So this 5 steps is very important under the preparation phase. So think your idea through that some innovative or some novelty based on the novel steps, novel things, and based on that novelty, based on that ideation, or based on that idea, you have to create a pitch deck, and after that you have to create an elevator pitch, then practice your presentation, finally do the research on the investor like that. So this after seeing these 5 steps, it sounds like a lot, but not nearly as much as starting and running a company. So roll up your sleeves and let's go to work like that. So that's a very important thing. So this is the introduction. That is whenever go for that pitching the idea from idea to business, or from the what is problem solving with the ideation. In that case, this preparation is very important thing. So what are the nature of ideas? See, whenever we are talking about the nature of ideas, the ideas demand change. Even if your idea is undeniably that it's brilliant, it will force someone somewhere to change how they do something. And since many people do not like the change and fear change, so the quality of your idea that you find so appealing, it may be precisely that make your idea so difficult for the people to accept it. So some individuals fear it change so much that they structure their lives around avoiding it. There is no anyone obviously miserable in their job or city or relationship, but still it's a refusing to change. So that's a very important thing in that whenever talking about the idea, nature of ideas. So when your great idea comes into contact with a person who does not want change, you and your idea are at the disadvantage. That's a very important thing. That's why before you can begin the pitch, you have to make sure you are talking to someone that's interested in change or has a clear need that your idea can satisfy. So in that healthy organization that make the changes easier than that a stingy evil organization do. So the smart organization it's often leads depend on the changes. So that's a very important thing. So the leaders in these heavens for the smart people not only encourage the positive changes to happen, but also they expect the people at all the levels of the organization to push for it like that. So that's why it requires more work and maturity for these managers to make this kind of environment successful. But when they pull it off, smart people are systematically encouraged to be smart. That's a very important thing. At present, we are in the smart world. So our thinking, our activity, everything, it should be in the form. It should be in the form of smartness. So that's a very important thing. That's why instead of the hard work, the smart work only it's speaking nowadays. So that's a very important thing. So the since you are the business student, all the time the idea pitching it happens all the time the meeting may be happening in cafeteria or in hallways or in some kind of meeting like that. So but since most of us don't work in these kind of places, so the burden of pitching ideas falls heavily on our shoulders like that. So that's the thing. So based on the next thing is the what is the problem solving and why the problem solving is needed. So whenever we are talking about the problem solving mainly consists of using the generic or some ad hoc method in an orderly manner to find the solutions to problem. That's a very important thing. The problem solving may be any kind of any skill. It may be any actually it's the ability to solve the problem is a basic life skill, and it's essential to our day-to-day life at home, at school, or at work like that. So we solve the problem every day without really thinking about how we solve them. So for example, suppose in the in a normal scenario, just I am giving one scenario. It's raining and you need to go to the store. Then what do you do? What do you do? Can you tell the answer? See, it's raining. It's in some use case. Just imagine this case. It's raining and you need to go to the store. Then what do you do? Anyone? Can you get me? Can you get my question? It's raining
Yes.
and you need to go to the store. Then what do you do?
So we take umbrella.
Very good. Next, any other solution? We take the umbrella and see. Obviously, whenever we are using umbrella, we will go by walk only. So here the two activity of taking the umbrella and walking. So the two activities. Then we will reach the solution. That's fine. Any other solution?
By car.
By car, very good. Why? Because if you go by, if you actually take the umbrella and go by walk, in the sense you suppose you will get some wet actually because of raining. So in that cases, you go by what bus or car or whatever it may be, any vehicle. So in that cases, here the some activity. The driving is one activity, and taking the car is another activity like that. Any other thing? Any other way?
So wear raincoat.
Yeah, raincoat, well and good, okay. That's the same activity like umbrella and walking. Any other thinking? It's a very simple task. But all the time we are doing this activity. And can you actually the two solutions came up to now? Any other solutions? Usually we are doing like that. The third solution or another solution, we are doing things. Usually we are practicing it. We are doing it. Anyone? So why I am asking? This is a different techniques or different ideas. Whenever we go for getting the problem or whenever we go for solving a such problem, all the way we are having the solutions, but the solution may be varied, depends on the person. The person to person, the solution can be varied. So far we got the two solutions. One more solutions. Anyone?
Or we can go a bit later.
Okay, but it's not exact because it's just we are postponing the time. But I want do it immediately.
सर एक टाइप की अम्ब्रेला कैप्स भी आती है because umbrella is something that we have to hold for our
Okay.
school journey.
No, I'm an umbrella, raincoat, and car. These are the okay. Everything is okay. But my point is any other problem solving, any other techniques, or any other solution for this problem in this case.
Or we can order the stuff.
Delivery.
So we can order from e-commerce stores.
No, that's online. Is it so? Online purchasing, yeah.
Yes,
I
sir.
didn't get it right. No. See, so online purchasing, is it possible to make it immediately? See, whether we got the things very immediately, it may take some time. So in that case, another solution, as per my observation, as per my opinion, I may call my friend for a ride. Is it okay? Because I don't have car, I don't have any vehicle, even I don't have umbrella. Then I will make a call to my friend for a ride. Is it okay? Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So it's not exactly safe, but my question is, this is a scenario. So in that scenario, the problem solving may be varied person to person. That's the thing. That's why I asked this question. So that's the thing, mother. So there is no right way to solve this problem, and the different people will solve it in the different manner. That's the thing. That's why I asked this question. So that's why the problem solving is a process of identifying a problem, developing a possible solution path, and taking the appropriate course of action. That's a very important. These three activities, whenever we go for solving a problem, these three activities is very important. Identifying a problem. First, we have to all the time we have to identify the problem, and second, very important thing, we have to develop a possible solution. What are the things? What are the we have to list out. We have to enumerate all the possible solutions. What are the solutions are there? And third thing, we have to take the appropriate solution or appropriate course of action. See, so many solutions are there. See, already I have given some set of solution for one problem, but that solution is not feasible for all. Is it so? Because
Yes, sir.
somebody doesn't have umbrella, somebody doesn't have car, somebody actually doesn't have a friend very near to their home like that. So in that case, the scenario, the solutions, lot of solutions are there, but the solution is we have to fix, we have to take the solution, which solution is appropriate to our problem or appropriate to our current situation. So that's a very, very important. That's actually we may say one important approach in that problem solving, that is a brute force. The brute is nothing but to enumerate or to list out all the possible solutions. Force in the sense we can take any one solution from that list, and we have to check whether the current solution is feasible to our problem or not. If not so, we can go back and we can take another set of solutions like that. That's a very important idea, very important problem solving strategy. So that is a problem solving strategy. That strategy is called as a brute force approach. Have you got it, ma? So that's the thing. So that's why the problem solving is very important in the sense, a good problem solving skill, it's empower you not only in your personal life, but also in the critical in your professional life also. That's a very important thing. So in the current fast changing global economy, the employers, they often identify the everyday problem solving as a crucial to the success of their organizations. So for that, this problem solving is very, very important. So for the employees, the problem solving can be used to develop the practical and creative solutions, and to show the independence and initiative to employers like that. That's a very, very important. That's why all the way we are going to discuss about this 10 ideation technique for problem solving. So whenever we are coming up with that problem solving technique, the 10 ideation technique, here coming up with the solutions to the business problem can sometimes feel overwhelming, but you can implement several ideation exercises to make this process in a productive manner and in a fun manner. So understanding which technique will work best for your team's situation and can help you generate more ideas and more optimal solutions like that. So that's why in this section, actually in this slide, I'm going to we are going to exploring the 10 ideation technique that will help you more effectively develop your ideas and also solving the problem like that. So what are the different ideation techniques? The 10 effective techniques. See, in that, another important thing, the ideation. The ideation is a very important. This is actually already you studied some design thinking subject. I don't know, but the design thinking is one important activity in that design thinking process. The ideation is the third step. So which is a user-focused method for solving the problem. So during this ideation step, a team can host an ideation session or workshop to create a structured process in which a facilitator can guide the participants through the exercises to come up with the ideas for the situation, and they want to solve, or the product they want to develop, like that. So that's a very important thing. So here we are going to discuss about the 10 ideation technique for problem solving. The first very important technique is a brainstorming. So we know actually the brainstorming is a well-known technique that leverages the interaction between a group of people to create the solutions by building on one another ideas. So for more effective brainstorming, use the technique with a group of about the 5 to 7 participants, like that. So in that smaller group, we have to and limiting your brainstorming session to 20 minutes. That will help keep the conversation that somewhat focused manner. And another very important thing, just try to include the participants from a variety of background or the perspectives to generate more diverse ideas. That's why to set up the brainstorming session, you need a facilitator who can make sure all the voices are heard and guide the conversation, like that. And another very important thing, that the particular facilitator should establish an environment that emphasizes all the ideas and discourages the negative feedback. And also the participants need to write the ideas that listen to one another, then build upon and discuss them as a group, like that. That's a very important thing in the brainstorming session. And second important problem solving technique is the worst idea. See, why we are focusing here the worst idea in the sense, here this worst idea technique, it asks the participants or people to come up with their worst solution to a problem. So why? Because with the help of the brainstorming, we are making that worst idea into somewhat better or good, like that. So while the brainstorming session encourages all the ideas, some people may still feel the nervous about their potential criticism. So this technique that remove that fear, because it welcomes some bad ideas, and also it often provides a more fun environment as the participants try to entertain one another and use their creativity to create the ridiculous ideas. So once your team pitches their worst ideas, your facilitator will then ask them to list the attributes that make those ideas bad. So now the participant must think about the opposites of the negative attribute to find and what would turn those bad ideas into some possible solutions. That's why we are including the worst idea also part of the problem solving. So even just discussing the worst ideas, it can lead to connections or sources of inspiration that can lead to the positive solutions, demonstrating their unexpected values, like that. So that's a very important. And third important thing is a storyboarding. So the storyboarding is somewhat a helpful technique when designing or improving the processes, some activity. So here the participants, he or she may create a visual story that presents their ideas and the possible outcome of those ideas, and allowing them to understand what works and what needs improvement or what needs to be improved, like that. So in that case, you have to follow your customer's journey through the processes, including the impacts of your solutions. So think of a storyboard as a comic strip, but do not worry about the artistic abilities. And so they represent each step in the process using the squares filled with their text or images that describing the user's journey and arrows between them, like that. So when looking at each step in the process, think about how you want your user to feel about or interact with the step, then determine what solutions or idea will enable that. So that's why the storyboarding here, each step of your process, it can also be helpful because you may realize you missed an essential step in some places, like that. So that's why the storyboarding is very important. And fourth important techniques for problem solving is mind mapping. So the mind mapping, we may say, it's a visual technique. Why it's called as a visual technique? In the sense, it establishes the relationship between the problem your team is trying to solve and potential solutions. So in the middle of the piece of the paper or whiteboard, write your problem statement or you have to note down your high level keyword related to the problem. So in the area surrounding that statement, you will describe any related solutions or ideas raised by the team and link them to the central the theme using the lines like that. That's the thing. That's the one about the mind mapping. This is the one. That's why it's called as a visual technique. So here we have to add another layer that specifies how you will achieve those proposed solutions, that linking them into the previous layer like that. So for example, suppose the small business owner, he or she would write that you have the low social media engagement in the middle of the page. So next they might create that some bubbles that represent the solutions to improve the user engagement, such as in terms of the quality content, posting the schedule, and the direct conversation like that. So then after that they add the layer that outline the strategic actions to achieve those solutions, such as linking the ideas, post the more images, and reshare the content from the influencers or the customers to the quality content bubble like that. So by using a mind map, you can break the large ideas or problem into smaller, we are making that into more manageable solutions like that. So that's a thing. And the fifth important ideation technique for problem solving is the brain writing. See, the brain writing is nothing but it's some improved version or some version of the brainstorming, the first version. Actually, it's a improved version of this first one, brainstorming. So the brain writing is a version of the brainstorming that works well for more introverted participants. Why? Because each person has a piece of paper and 5 to 6 minutes to write down as many solutions to the problem your team wants to solve. But at the end of the time, you will then pass their piece of paper to another participants, so who will build upon ideas they had written down. So you will repeat this process until everyone has contributed. Then the facilitator collect all the papers and display them. So this is a very important activity in that problem solving. So once displayed, everyone will discuss each idea and determine which ones best solve your needs like that. Now you can begin improving and building these concepts further for the potential use. So the main advantage of this brainwriting technique is that it allow everyone to contribute to the ideation process and have their ideas considered. So in typical the brainstorming sessions, some people speak less while others might dominate the conversation. So in that case, this brainwriting will be very useful for ensuring a failure environment like that. That's why instead of the brainstorming, we go for the brainwriting. So that's one important technique in that problem solving. That's the thing. And sixth one, questioning assumptions. See, whenever we are talking about the questioning assumptions here, the many industries have an assumed that set of beliefs about how to do these things, but this technique challenges those beliefs to try to create more original ideas like that. For this reason, you may want to use this technique to improve an existing product or build a new one. Think about what you want to solve or create, then create 20 to 30 assumptions about that product or the service or the idea as a group. Then after that, these assumptions can be both positive and negative, and also it should cover all the aspects of your business. And after that, you go through these assumptions or choose a few or depending on the time constraint and discuss whether they are true or just they have not faced the questioning before like that. By doing this, your team might realize this some assumed characteristics or strategies are not necessary for our problem, and you can replace them with newer or more innovative ideas. That's a very important point in that questioning assumption. And seventh one is the sketching. So in that sketching here, just like designing a product. So when designing a product, you may want to incorporate sketching to help explore your ideas further. Some people have an easier time conveying their ideas visually rather than verbally, and it can help your team think about more abstract concepts. So there is no pressure to create a perfect or final image of your product as these. It should be a rough draft or simple sketches that illustrate your ideas. So that's why in that sketching we are making, or we are following collaborate or group sketching is similar to brain writing, but each participants draw the ideas instead of writing them. That's the thing. So we are making the design. See, the brainstorming will be having some drawback that will be overcome with the brain writing. The brain writing is also some drawback because all the way here we are mainly based on the text oriented, but that will be replaced with the sketching. That sketching here we are moving with some design. So in that here the drawing. So the drawing or the passed around and built upon by the other participant and finally presented to everyone and discussed. So that's why during this kind of discussion, you may find the connections between the drawing that will help you create the most optimal design solution. Again, this is a good option for more artistically minded teams and also ensure that everyone's idea receives consideration from the group like that. So that's the thing. And eighth point is very important point, analysis. See, the analogies is very important. Why? Because the analogy is a comparison between the two items or concepts which you can use to generate the new ideas. See, like same idea, but there are two different things. The same item or same concept, but for the generating new idea. So in that case, you can use an analogy to simplify the problem you are trying to solve. So to do this, compare your situation to a situation familiar to everyone. In that case, as a group, you can use a template like this. If X is true for that situation, how can we make it true for ours? Like that. For example, consider the example is a marketing team might say their industry is a lot like fishing. So in that case, as per that marketing department, marketing team, they might say their industry is it's like fishing. So in that case, the fisherman needs to understand what type of fish he wants to catch and what bait attracts them, and much like a marketing campaign has a target audience that they want to attract. So now they start generating ideas on what type of bite actually they need to focus on, or what strategies will lead to quickest customer acquisitions like that. So that's the thing. And the ninth point is a very important. Actually, you may use the Scamper, the technology Scamper tool for questioning the element, each element. Actually, in that case, a Scamper represents the 7 ways. Yes, SCAMPA. Get the 7 letters, 7 word. It looks at a problem or project that enabling you to come up with ideas from a variety of perspectives. So this Scamper technique works well when working with an existing product or a service to determine how you can improve it or use it as a starting point to develop a new offering. So ask yourself that questions based on the Scamper element. See, you know that S for substitute, C for combined, and A for adapt, M for modify, P for put to another use, E for eliminate, and R for reverse, like that. So in that cases, here the substitute, S for substitute in the sense what features of this product or service can be substituted or swapped for something else. C for combine. So in that case, how can we combine this product or service with another product or service to improve it? And A for adapt. So here the adapt is nothing but how would we adapt? How we adapt this product or service to another audience? Modify is nothing but what component of this product or service can we modify to improve it? Put to another use is nothing but what is another use for this product or service that we have not considered yet. E for eliminate. Eliminate is nothing but what necessary elements can we eliminate from this product or service to streamline it. And finally, R for reverse. So what would happen if we reversed our process or recognized this product like that? So that's it's a very important thing, the Scamper element or Scamper tool for identifying that our product So finally, it's a body storm. So the body storming technique asks the individual to act out the situations. So here the ideation contribute to the design thinking process, which focus on the user's needs and physically taking the place of your potential user can help you think about the problem in a more empathetic way. So the use of physical movement can also help the energize the participants and also raise the excitement for generating the ideas. So you must set up the scenario you are trying to create the ideas around, which may require that props. So that's very important. So this 10 point is very important, that here the body storming enable the participants to take the hands-on approach to potentially abstract the problem. So this 10 ideation technique is very important for problem solving. That's the thing. And next, here how to make a pitch for investors. So how we are making our idea into business concept. So in that case, how to make a pitch for the investors. So here, creating a successful pitch that start with the so from there, it's up to you to identify what makes your business valuable and worth investing in. So you may have 5 pages of proven financial history and a deep analysis of how you stack up against the competition across the multiple industries, but you simply can't cover it all. So because when you are pitching to angel investors and venture capitalists for the first time, you will often only have around 10 minutes to make your case. That's your presentation is maximum 10 minutes only. So in that case, how to make the quick pitch somewhat in a successful manner. So here we are having some points. The first, you have to make the you have to create a presentation. So first, you have to take the time to put together your pitch deck. So here the main goal is to create a text that is easy for you to work off and gets the investors excited about your business. And very important thing, just keep in your mind, you should have a short version that you can speak to within 10 minutes, as well as an extended version that include everything you would like to give the potential investors access to. So that's why here we have so many templates are there for the pitching. You can use the template for whenever go for the pitching the ideas. So that's a very, very important thing. And the second important thing, you have to practice your pitch. So in that case, you need to practice your pitch, not being able to quickly speak to each element of a business that makes every other tip on this virtually useless. Too many entrepreneurs think that just by knowing their business, they can quickly and succinctly explain its value like that, and having a killer pitch deck with the eye-popping visuals will be enough to fall back on. So they go into the pitch meetings unprepared. So instead of being able to say, I need only 10 minutes of your time, and actually only taking the 10 minutes, but you should find someone yourself rambling 20 minutes in having only made it through the slide 5. So take the time to practice, simplify your messaging, and only keep the elements that build up your business. Leave everything else on the cutting room floor like that. That's very, very important. That's why before going for the presentation, you have to practice with your pitch. That's a very, very important thing. And third important, outline the problem with a story. See, already we talked about the storyboarding in that previous problem solving. So here also, whenever go for the the pitch for the investor, here also we have to do the outline the problem with the story. In that case, begin your pitch with a compelling story. All the way, it should address the problem you are solving in the marketplace, and also it will engage your audience right out of the gate. And if you have done any testing, try to include actual data here. That's a very important point. And also you can relate your story to your audience. So in this case, that invested even better like that. So what industries that have they invested in previously? What pain points to their previous entrepreneurial endeavors have? Do some research about the investors. So you have a good sense of what they care about and can tailor your story to them like that. So that's very important. And fourth point is your solution. So your solution here is just share what's unique about your product and how it will solve the issues you shared in the previous, that's outline the problems to slide, and keep it somewhat short, concise, and easy for the investor to explain to others like that. Very particularly, you have to avoid using some buzzwords. Unless your investors are very familiar with your industry, you may use it. Otherwise, unless you never ever use this kind of buzzwords in your presentation. And again, if you have done any testing beforehand, the plugin results here to give your solutions somewhat for the better clarity and more credibility like that. So the fifth one, your target market. So that's a very important because as per the business canvas model, this target market is very important. So don't say that everyone in the world is a potentially your target market, even if it would be true one day, but realistic about who you are building your product for and break out your market into like a TAM, SOM like that. So this will not only impress your audience, but it will keep you think before strategically about your rollout plan like that. So in that case, if you can try and develop your user persona or your ideal customer when speaking about your target market like that. So this will help the investors visualize the potential customer and display the that you have thought intentionally about your business will that serve. So that's why it will also much easier to speak to a named individual in a quick pitch rather than a broad demographic like that. So that's why the market target is very important. And sixth one, your revenue or business model. So here the investor tends to care about this business model. So in that case, it's a very specific about your product and pricing and emphasize again how your market is awaiting your arrival like that. So everything you have to disclose it in that business model. And seventh point is your success. That is the early traction and milestones. Early traction and milestone. That is in that cases, whenever so in that case, actually in the yearly. The yearly slide, actually we have seen about you want to build some credibility. So that takes some time to share the relevant traction you have made. So this is your opportunity to blow your own horn. So impress the investors with what you and your team have accomplished to date. That is a sale, contract, product launches, hiring and so on. So you have likely mentioned bits and pieces of this early on, but this is a point where you create a full snapshot of your business like that. That's the thing. And the eighth point is customer acquisition. That is a marketing and sales strategy. So here is usually one of the most skipped sections of an investor pitch and a full business plan. How will you reach your customers? How much cost? How much it will cost? How will you measure the success? And your financials should easily allow you to calculate your customer acquisition cost. But you should also mention how you intend to reach the customer, which channel you will be advertising on, and even present an example of some messaging like that. Everything you have to make it in that customer acquisition. That is a very, very important. And ninth point is your team. So here you have to all the way you have to focus about your team members. So who are all the team members? Who are all the what about their role? Everything you have to make it in that your team. And next your financial projection. So that is a very important. So that you are projecting in revenue per product over the next 3 to 5 years like that. So you must back up your number by sharing your assumptions like that. So you will see the investors taking out their smartphone calculator to make sure that your numbers make sense like this. That's why very important whenever you go for financial projections, you have to do the appropriate calculation, and after that you have to include all the financial things, financial things should be what projected in that slide. That is a very, very important thing. And 11th point is your competition. So that is also you have to make who are the competitor for your product and everything. You have to make it in a very clear manner. And next, your funding needs. So what are the in that case we have to clearly spell out how much money has already been invested in our company, by whom, and ownership percentage, and how much more you need to go for the next level. So everything you have to clearly mention it in that funding needs like that. And your exit strategy, that is also, because whenever we are talking about that marketing strategy, in that cases the exit strategy is also a very important thing. Why? Because if you are seeking large sums of investment, that capital, in that cases you want to know what your exit strategy is like that. So that is also very important. That's also you have to follow. You have to make it. And that finally, that is the next is the follow up. So here all the way you have to do the better follow up. So based on that follow up only, you are getting the appropriate that what are the selling easily you can sell your product like that. And the fifth one is a feedback and refine your pitch. So finally, next we take the feedback and again you go for refine your pitch from the first step onwards. So that's the thing. So in that take the feedback in a sense. Here, don't be afraid to ask for the feedback and take that into the account for the next time you pitch. Actually, it will be very useful where you are lagging, where your product or where your that strategy is lagging. There, everything you will get it after getting the feedback. So don't hesitate to take the feedback of your product or take the feedback of your presentation. So that's a very, very useful for you like that. So that's a very important. So this 15th step is very important for pitching for the investors. And another thing, 9 things that make a pitch from the good idea into great idea. So whenever for ideation, the problem solving, we have seen about the different problem solving approach for the ideation, the 10 techniques. So here the 9 things to be taken, 9 things to be considered from actually take an idea of pitch from the good to the great idea. So the first one is to tell a real customer story. So here the real customer story, when possible, open your pitch by telling a real customer story that addresses the problem your product or service solves in the marketplace. Avoid using, that's already I told you, some tech buzzwords like that. So instead of the use real name and real customer challenges, keep it simple and realistic like that. So that's the thing. And second thing, pare it down to the essentials. In that case, actually, I have heard many entrepreneurs deliver their pitch as if they are actioning of their grandmother's antiques or like that, their family assets like that. So in that case, it must be because they think they need to address every aspect of their business plan in one fell sweep, but doing so makes them seem dense manner or nervous or like that. So I always wish they would relax and realize that what you are giving a pitch, less is more like that. That's a very, very important thing. And third thing, outline your business model. That is already I've seen that business model tells the investor how your idea will convert into being economically viable. So the best way to show you how to communicate your business model is to show you that you're an example of the good one. Like whenever go for that, the example, we have to make all the way, have to write the questions like that. What do you sell, to whom, how much do they pay, and how do they pay you? Everything you have to make it in that outline of your business model. And the fourth point, make sure your presentation is crystal clear to anyone and everyone. So in that case, if you can get someone who doesn't understand your business model to grasp what you are communicating, then you are prepared to give some good pitch. Some of the worst pitches I have seen that filled with some acronyms, text speak, and some something like unwanted words like that. So keep your pitch short, sweet, and to the point like that. That's a very important thing. And fifth point, talk about yourself. So that's like about your team. That is, it's very important to know the investor, invest in the people first and ideas second. So as a matter of fact, I have that several investors that tell me to keep them posted on my that next startup because they would like to invest in me and my next venture. Like that, everything you have to make it in a very appropriate manner. That's a very important thing. And sixth one is tell us what have you done lately. So by actually this is nothing but I mean that you should share the successes and traction your team has had since the inception of your company. So it always surprises me how the frequently this is left out of pictures. So that's a very important tell us what have you done lately like that. And seventh one, address competition head on. Here first of all, never say I don't have any competition. That's something already I told you. That's some rookie mistake. But many entrepreneurs say this. Everyone has a competition, even if it's the indirect competition. So that's a very important thing. So you have to mention it. You have to all the way you have to focus it. And the eighth point, give the numbers that are behind your numbers. So don't say you are going to be a $50 million business in the 3 years, because the most investors won't even believe it unless you have done this before in another company like that. So what's more compelling than big talk is to show exactly how you will reach those millions. What information about your company do you have and what that's made you. So everything you have to forecast is and everything you have to make it and share what your assumptions are about your business model like that. That's a very important thing. And ninth point, show your non product like that. So you have to all the way you have to show the what is the actual product. You have to show that product like that. That's a very important point. And another thing, actually, it's a final thought. Because ideation is at the heart of the design thinking process. So there are literally hundreds of ideation techniques are there. But here we have that provided you with some overview of the best technique as well as the when and why you to use them like that. So due to the nature of the ideation, it is extremely important to make use of these techniques that match the type of ideas you are trying to generate like that. So these techniques you choose will because actually we discussed about this some 10 techniques, 10 ideation techniques for the problem solving. So this technique you choose will also need to match those of the ideation team members, their states of creativity, productivity, and their experience with ideation sessions and like that. And if you got this far, you must be determined to get your pitch right. That's a great start. The truth is, you are bound to encounter many challenges. So the road lying ahead of you is filled with the traps and some tedious climbs. That's why my last advice is going to be like for your startup, who's something you are truly passionate about. That's a very important quote. It's proven to be the best way to to stay focused. They keep your chin up and move forward. So good luck in your venture. Make the world a better place. Next step is it's a perfect investor meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and making this session interactive and knowledgeable for the students. I hope everyone has got some knowledge about how to, create the ideas and how to solve the problems. I hope everybody has understood the concept. Students, if you have any doubts, any questions you want to ask, you can drop your questions in the chat box or you can raise your hands.